At this time, if you will, I'd like to call on Chris Sutherth, who's the owner of Tri-State Graphics and the Chamber's 2021 Small Business Person of the Year. Chris, come forward and have our invocation, please, sir.
Let us pray. Father, thank you for a night like tonight where we can recognize these men for the accomplishments that they've had in our community. Father, not just for building great companies and leading great organizations, but for the personal impact they made on people's lives. And Father, we know that one day we long to hear you say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And Father, tonight, that's what we want to do in just a small way with each one of these men. Well done for the businesses they built. Well done for the community involvement they participated in. Well done for impacting each of our lives economically, personally. And Father, we just pray that you would bless them and their families and that your special grace would be upon them. Pray now that you'll bless this food to our bodies. Bless us to your service. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Chris. As you enjoy your dinner this evening, please join me in thanking the following businesses for supporting tonight's event and making this event possible. We ask that you please hold your applause until everyone's been recognized. Our diamond sponsor for tonight's special evening is Mike Schmidt's Automotive Group.
Hi, I'm Mike Schmitz, and it's a great privilege to sponsor the 2022 Business Hall of Fame. To all the incredible inductees, this is one of the highest honors you can receive in our community. So to you and your family, congratulations. Let's enjoy it.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike, again, for all you do and sponsoring and having that philanthropic attitude that you certainly have. We also have other sponsors, platinum sponsors for tonight's event that, again, has helped make this possible. Caldwell Banker, Alfred Saliba Realty, Couch Aggregates, Empire Pipe, and Reeves and Shaw Construction. Let's give these guys a round of applause. Again, thank you to our sponsors because, again, without you, none of this is possible. All right, so dinner's being served now by the great restaurant Ketchum's. They're out of Hartford, Alabama, and I think you'll enjoy what they're going to prepare or have prepared for you tonight. So please enjoy your dinner, and I think we have a video here we'll share. Hello again. Please continue to enjoy your meal as we continue the program. Again, thank you guys for being here, and thanks again to the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce and the Dothan Area Young Professionals for their part in getting this organized for this evening. And again, thanks to Ketchum's for the wonderful meal this evening. And again, our sponsors for tonight's event. Tonight is a special night. And really, before we begin our induction ceremony, we'd like to take this opportunity and take a moment to recognize our past Hall of Fame laureates. That's wonderful men and women right there that you just saw. The Dothan Business Hall of Fame was established in May 2011 by the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce and by the Dothan Area Young Professionals. The Hall of Fame's mission is to pay recognition to local business leaders who've made an impact in their community and on their community by promoting the free enterprise system of entrepreneurship. To honor those individuals who have spent a lifetime demonstrating civic leadership, philanthropy, and humanitarianism toward their fellow citizens. The Hall of Fame plaques honoring the laureates are located in a prominent location at the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce, where it may be seen by chamber members, prospective chamber members, industrial prospects, visitors, and the general public. This year's laureates will be added to the wall soon, and we invite you to go by the chamber to view the wall.
Good evening. My name is Martin Everett. I'm the chairman for the Dothan Area Young Professionals this year. The Dothan Area Young Professionals are honored to have been asked to partner with the Chamber of Business Hall of Fame Recognition Program. With a mission to enrich our community by uniting and developing young professionals, the Dothan Area Young Professionals feel that being a part of this program not only enhances our objective, but also gives us the opportunity to further support participation in philanthropic activities.
Thank you, Martin. All right, let's get to it, right? Our first laureate this year to be recognized is Mark S. Culver, Chairman of the Houston County Commission.
Mark Culver was born in Dothan and spent his childhood and adolescent years growing up surrounded by the love of his close family, parents, both grandparents, an aunt, an uncle, and cousins. Mark was educated through the Dothan City School System and graduated from Dothan High in 1974. After graduating from Auburn University in 1978, Mark returned to Dothan. He is a member of First United Methodist Church and has 3 children, Dr. Stephanie Simmons, Robert Culver, and Kenan Culver.
My dad firmly believes in his 4 F's: family, football, faith, and he says food as far as supporting the economy on getting produce out to everybody. But I believe the 4th F, or maybe an additional 5th F, would be fun for him.
In 1986, Mark was elected to the Houston County Commission as the representative for District 4. He marked the pages of local history as the first Republican elected to local office in Houston County and the youngest person to serve on the commission. In May 1997, having served 2 additional terms as commissioner, Mark was appointed chairman by then Governor Fob James to fill a vacancy. In November 1998, Mark was elected to a full term as chairman and has been re-elected 5 times since, running many times unopposed.
My dad has always loved being in public office. There are obviously pros and cons to it, but I feel like even when he has adversities, he overcomes them with a good amount of grace.
During his time as chairman, Mark has been involved in some of the largest, most impactful business developments for the Dothan area, including Commercial Jet Services, CAE, and McLean Company Incorporated. Other projects Mark was involved with during his years of service include the creation of the Houston County Substance Abuse Board, a regional landfill authority, implementation of Houston County's E911 emergency addressing system, and purchase of the property for development of the Houston County Distribution Park.
He's very laid back. He does not get worked up over very much. He's a great leader. I definitely look up to him for that. I've learned a lot of leadership qualities from him that I try to bring into my own business. He's fun, loving, just very positive energy all the way around.
With his entrepreneurial spirit, he has founded and had ownership in many successful small businesses in the community, including current owner of Playmaker and former partner and owner of New Graphics. and Southern Nut Collection. Additionally, he has been a realtor with Coldwell Banker Commercial, Alfred Saliba Realty since 2000.
My dad really has a heart for small businesses. I can speak to that personally, as he's wanted to help my business grow as much as it has in the last 10 years, and I really would not be where I am without Dad's help and advice.
In 2001, he served as president of the Association of County Commissions of Alabama and was recognized in 2013 with their Outstanding Contribution to County Government Award, the organization's highest honor. Mark has also served as president of the Dothan Rotary Club and Dothan Landmarks Foundation, in addition to past board chairman of SARCOA and the Southeast Alabama Regional Planning and Development Commission.
I'm very proud of you. I would not be who I am without you. I know it's not always been easy for either one of us, but as you like to say, we're best friends as well as family. So I'm proud of you.
Mark, where are you? Come on up.
I may need those. Well, thank you, daughter. See if I can hold back tears before I speak after that. I'm actually happy that the things you did say, because there was a lot you could have said you didn't say. I'm happy for that too. So your discretion is appreciated. Thank you all for this tremendous honor. And to those who nominated me, I know who you are. I'm not going to try to name all of you, but I'm extremely honored and proud to have worked alongside of you. Now, I will tell you, they told me I had 5 minutes, but you give a politician a pulpit in a Baptist church, it ain't happening. So I've already been to some of these other honorees, and I've borrowed minutes from them. So you're still going to get out of here in time, but I'm going to be longer than 5 minutes. My family, where you see Stephanie and all my children, my 3 children over there, and Tammy, and the Blunts and all over there, and my business associates, I appreciate all of you, all my county folks, my realty family, and extremely important friends. Thank all of you for being here, because without you, I wouldn't be here, and I really appreciate all that. I also would be remiss if I didn't say something about the Thorntons. Where's Evelyn? Evelyn and the Thornton family and the Blunt family have been best friends forever. Press also worked with our real estate office. So the fact that we are both getting recognized today has a little touch of God in it, and I congratulate you guys, and it means a lot to me to be here with you all. I just wanted to say that. My cousin, as he was reading over there, just said to me, "Culver, I was reading through all these past honorees. What are you doing in here with them?" And I kind of agreed with that. I am very honored, but I'm also very humbled, because I'm being inducted into a group that I'm not sure I belong in, and a group that includes Alfred and Mac and John and Marnix and so many others that have done so many great things and invested so much in our community. And what have I done? I've done what you elected me to do. I get up every morning doing the job you asked me to do. And isn't that what all politicians should do? Isn't that what all elected officials should do? That's what I do every day. So I feel somewhat humbled to be on the same stage with you, Doctor, and others. I've tried to make our county and our community a better place. And I've done that by trying to create opportunity for our citizens. And that's all. It's pretty simple. You get elected to office, guys, and you try to make your community better. That's all you do. Oh, one other thing. You do whatever Matt Parker tells you to when he calls. Matt, I see you over there. When the phone rings, you just say, "What do you want now, Matt?" When I was first elected at the age of 29, I was a little bit naive, and my goal was to make everybody happy. It took me about 6 months to figure out I better just do what's best, what I think is best for the citizens of the county, and that seems to have worked out better. My top priority was and has been to work with others to create jobs for our community and to improve the quality of life while providing infrastructure and for business and industry to succeed. To do that, I was honored to work with 6 mayors, including the Mayor Saliba, who's here somewhere. I saw him a minute ago, Matt, and many other community leaders in the region who were willing to buy into a unique concept called regionalism that at first may have seemed strange to them, but became an attitude unique in its approach, and I believe what has made us successful in our part of the state and region. It really created opportunities. I'm proud to have been part of that effort to create a unique situation here that allows us to compete, right, Matt? Because of the regional aspect we look at. I'm proud to have been part of that for 36 years. And it's probably why I'm able to stand here today. David Money, I want to thank you for being part of that, and people like you. David's back there at that table. Matter of fact, as I mentioned that table, I want to recognize the men and women that are sitting at that very far back corner. Now, I don't know why they put baby in the corner back there, but those gentlemen and ladies are or 6 of them, are commissioners that I've served with as chairman. You know, the chairman in Houston County can't make a motion, can't vote on anything. You depend on those people right there. You depend on those to give you the confidence to tell Matt, yes, we can do that. Without them, we couldn't have done that. And I publicly want to say thank you to you guys. I also want to recognize Sonny Brassfield, who is back there, who is the executive director of the Association of County Commissions, who has taught me all I know about politics, which is very little, and about getting things done in Montgomery. Thank you for being here from Montgomery, Sonny. Lastly, and I'm going to be in my 8 minutes, I'd not be standing here tonight if it wasn't for the good Lord above. I have people all the time that come up to me in grocery stores and want to know about their ditch and call me in the middle of the night and interrupt my commission meetings and call me names. And people say, you got that, right? People say, how can you do this job? Well, I believe it's because this is the job God made for me. It's the job God put me in. I love every day of it, have loved every day of it, and I'm going to love the next 213 days of it before I don't do it anymore. He knew when he put me in this position that it was what I was designed to do and was put there to serve. Many of you know my father died when I was 13 years old, and my school teacher mom did the best she could with what she had, which I think was a pretty good job. I learned right and wrong from 2 great men, my grandfather Mark Cannon, who I'm named after, and my uncle Bill Blunt, not that one. I learned public service from Alfred Saliba, who was like a third dad to me, and Robert Crowder, and I understood, and still understand, it's not what we are. It's not what we are, Chairman. It's who we are that matters. That's real. All this politics that I just talked about that you see in the grocery store and the phone call, that's not real. That's not real life. That's just politics. It's the improvements we make in our community. It's the families we touch. It's the lives we make better. It's the friends and family that stand beside us in joyous times like this, all of you, and in times of sorrow. That's what's real in life. Politics isn't real. We're elected to make your lives better for our citizens, you all. And that's all. That's our job. It's real simple. Winston Churchill once said, "You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks." We will not let politics slow us down in the wiregrass, will we, Mayor, wherever you are? We will always focus on the goal. How many of you saw the presentation at the Civic Center yesterday? Pretty dang amazing. You know, we have great things happening in our community. That's just the start of them. We need to stay focused and not throw rocks at the dogs. It's been an honor to be part of that success over the years. I look forward to continuing to working towards success. I am so very honored to be recognized with all these great people tonight, and I thank all of you for letting me serve you for the last 36 years. Thank you.
All right. Our next laureate is David Mitt Kirkland from Scenic Cable Network and Productions.
Born in Dothan and a lifelong resident, David Mitt Kirkland, the youngest of three brothers, grew up in a neighborhood surrounded by the love and leadership of family, professionals, and entrepreneurs.
My uncle is the fun uncle, so he's been a funkle. Ever since I've known him, he's always had a camera. No matter what is going on in our family, special occasions, we know Uncle is there with the camera. So if he misses anything, we have to start Happy Birthday all over again.
Growing up, Mitt acquired a love of technology and sports that still exists today. As a teenager, Mitt succeeded at operating his own radio station, the Voice of the Block, WVOB. Mitt's passion for sports during his teenage years also contributed to the formidable foundation for his success. Mitt began his professional career in 1973 at Dothan radio station WDIG as radio announcer Mitt DeWitt. 2 years later, he was presented with the opportunity to work in television.
He's always been hardworking about the things that he's involved in and going that extra mile and getting others involved in whatever passion or cause he was moving forward in.
In 1988, Mitt became part owner of Scenic Productions, a cable television advertising and video production company, which has grown into a multi-million-dollar company, has provided production services for several major television networks and large multinational corporations, including Michelin, GE, Sony, and Georgia Pacific. Additional production service clients include the History Channel, the Discovery Channel, the Montel Williams Show, Fox News Channel, and the Food Network. Mitt credits his success to growing up in a family where God, believing in yourself, and community service was part of his daily life.
I think he has been one of the trailblazers in encouraging for the African Americans in this community to see that you can do it. You can make it in this industry. Growing up, you look around for a few examples to see. And my uncle was one of those few examples that you could look around and see and say, oh, okay, yes, there are African Americans in this industry right here in Dothan.
Mitt Kirkland was awarded the 2014 Small Business Person of the Year by the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce and was featured in the Alabama News Center as one of Alabama's bright lights in 2015.
He has a passion for people, in this community that he loves, with the garden across the street named after my grandmother, Aunt Katie's garden. That's one of his loves, is that garden that was named after grandmother. Again, it sits right here in the heart of the community where he was born and raised.
Mitt's commitment to improving the Dothan community is solidified through his work on the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, the Wiregrass Area Food Bank Board, the Dothan Botanical Gardens Board, the George Washington Carver Museum Board, the Du Bois Institute, Aunt Katie's Community Garden Board, Southeast Alabama Community Foundation Board, and Vice Chairman of Dothan Downtown Redevelopment Authority.
Uncle Mitt, we are so proud of you. We knew this day would come, and it is just awesome to see that you are being rewarded and recognized for all your hard work and your efforts in the community over the years. We're proud of you. Congratulations.
Mitt Kirkland, come on up.
Well, I'm kind of speechless after my niece Christy said such nice things about me. I had about 1 million things I wanted to say, but I decided to cut it down to about 100,000. So, but I'm real honored to be here tonight. It's indeed an honor to stand here before you and to be recognized alongside such distinguished honorees, present and past. And I was sitting around thinking, and this came to my mind, and I wrote it down. I said, I am thankful and blessed. I am humbled by my success. Not one single second do I take for granted. I am the fruit of seeds that were planted long before me. They are the roots, and I'm just a branch on their tree. So that's what it's all about. We all had somebody to make paths for us. Are we path takers or path makers? Do we follow the lead or do we make our own paths? And I was thinking about what I was going to speak on tonight, and I began to think about the path that my life has taken and the people who played a part in it. Warren Buffett once said that he was blessed to be born when he was born, where he was born, and to the family he was born into. He said it gave him an advantage. He said everyone doesn't have the advantage. You know, if you think about it, none of us had a choice of when we were born, where we would be born, and who our parents would be. So we should be thankful that we are who we are and that we have been able to do what we've been able to accomplish. I'm thankful because I grew up in the same environment, up in a wonderful family, a good neighborhood, a church with great spiritual leaders, in a city with expanding opportunities. My career has been unique because I've had an opportunity to interact with many of the laureates here and some of the past ones, and some very interesting stories. I remember recording a video for AAA Cooper Transportation where Mike Dove was interviewing his dad, Red Dove, and Mike called him Pop. And so Mr. Red Dove was talking about how he started AAA Cooper, and he had a lot of companies. Originally it was Dove Truck Line, and he bought and sold a lot of companies, and he had AAA Cooper Motor Lines. which is now known as AAA Cooper Transportation. But Mr. Dove talked about how the reason he named it AAA was because it would come up first in the phone book. And that was why he named it AAA. So that was very smart. And he also talked about the early days of transportation. He talked about how there were only 2 paved roads, highways. Highway 231 from Montgomery to Panama City. Highway 90 from Pensacola to Jacksonville. But all the other highways were dirt. And it was hard to get around in those days. I remember shooting an interview with Dr. Paul Flowers. He talked about why and how he built the cath lab at Flowers Hospital and how he recruited doctors to operate it. Larry Bloomberg, I saw him here. Larry gave me my first supervisory job at his very first hotel. And many decades later, I got to work with Larry again in producing a video, a historical video, and orientation video for his company. And I got to see the culture of LBA hospitality and how much the people love working for LBA. And now LBA has they're managing over 90 properties in the Southeast US. So it's been an experience seeing these companies grow like that. I had the opportunity to serve on the Dothan Downtown Redevelopment Authority. Most of you know it's the DDRA. And former chairman and former mayor Jimmy Grant and I would talk sometime. And I asked him, I said, Mr. Grant, how did you accomplish all of the things you did as mayor? And he told me how he was able to achieve those things. I interviewed John Glanton, Jr., who shared with me his experience as the first Black commissioner on the Dothan City Commission. And he told me a story about the commissioners and Mayor Grant going to Houston, Texas. This was in the early 80s. And he said that they went to this restaurant. It was a League of Cities event. And they went to this restaurant because everybody said, you guys should go there and eat. It's got the best steaks. And so they went to this restaurant. And they were seated, but no one ever came to serve them. They sat there, and sat there. So Mayor Grant got up and went to the maitre d' and said, what's the problem? They said, we don't serve that kind in here, referring to Mr. Glanton. And so Mayor Grant got up, he went back to the table. He said, we're all leaving. We're not going to eat at a place that will not serve Mr. Glanton. So they all got up and left. I've also served on many boards with fellow laureates, Mayor Mike Smith, Velma Tribute, Rayfield Vester, Dr. Linda Young, Charles Nayland, Chairman Mark Cover, and I have worked on many Spirit of Service days. And Mark, you may have a career in TV after you finish, after you retire, okay? Come see me. And I grew up in a family of servants led by my grandfather, W.S. Hayes, where God, family, and community were a priority. One thing that sticks out in my mind was a bumper sticker on my grandfather's car. It said, have you paid your poll tax? Back then, you had to pay a poll tax in order to vote. He knew the importance of participating in the voting process because much of his life, he had been denied that right. My grandfather was very active in the community, and I got a lot of my community spirit from my grandfather. Back in the 60s, he was the chairman for the United Fund, and it was the Negro division, is what they called it then. But he was chairman of that division. And he made a big impact in raising funds for the United Way, which is now United Fund, which is now the United Way. And then anytime there was something new in Dothan, he made sure we knew about it. He would take us there and show us things. So it helped us to grow and see things on a different level. My mother spent her life doing for others, taking care of children in her kindergarten, teaching and feeding them, even when their parents didn't have the money to pay. She would feed anyone who needed a meal, and she lived by example, and she led by example. Every Sunday, she would prepare a large meal, and anyone who wanted a meal could come and eat. Her pastor, Reverend Brandon Marshall, who's seated right over there, he's from Louisiana, and she would fix him a special dinner on Sunday, of red beans and rice and sweet potato pie. Is that right, Reverend? But some of you have heard of Aunt Katie's Community Garden. Well, Aunt Katie was my mother, and the garden was named in her honor. My two older brothers, Charles and Willie, were my role models. I looked up to them and their accomplishments. My brother Willie was one of the first group that integrated Dothan City Schools. Willie went on to become an outstanding athlete at Dothan High School and obtained his PhD and became a college professor. He and I were the first two black basketball players to play for Dothan High School under Coach Mike Kirkland, who passed away earlier this year, I believe. Coach Kirkland was a good coach and a very fine person. He treated us the same as he treated everybody else on that team. And those were some very challenging times. Growing up at First Missionary Baptist Church had a great influence on my life. The membership consisted of many religious and community leaders. Dr. D.V. Jemison, John Glanton Sr. and John Glanton Jr., Marion and Alvita Hawk, my grandfather, Mr. W.S. Hayes, Mr. Michael Patton, Mr. Velam Jackson. There were many great spiritual leaders at our church. The church has been a part of the Dothan community for 130 plus years. Reverend Brandon Marshall is the pastor. And by the way, all four African-American laureates have one thing in common: all members of First Missionary Baptist Church. All right, Reverend? Can I get an amen? My media career began before I started at WDIG. When I was a small kid, I tried to make a TV camera. I read in the encyclopedia how a TV camera worked, so I started to make one. And there was a neighbor at my house. I said, plug this in for me. So she plugged it in. It blew up and knocked her across the room. But that was the end of my engineering there. But I also, when I was a teenager, I had a radio station. I always had a fascination with radio and television. So I had a radio station, and it was, I bought a kit from Radio Shack. And it was, I called the station WVOB, the voice of the block, because it reached about a block in my neighborhood. But me and my buddies would go in my bedroom. I had a microphone. We had an 8-track tape player. We'd talk, and we'd put the mic to the speaker for the music, and we'd ride around the neighborhood and listen to each other on the radio. So, but actually my real media career began at WDIG, and I'm forever grateful for Bob Tracy, who was the DJ at the time. He took me in, trained me, mentored me, and that launched my career in radio and TV. After working in TV for several years, I became part owner of Scenic Productions with partners Steve McGowan and Rick Patrick. Then in 1992, Terry Duffy and Dr. Wallace Miller became my business partners. Terry and I have been in business for 30 years. And during that time, Scenic has steadily grown in revenue, employees, and market reach. We provided services for the major networks, including the History Channel, the Discovery Channel, the Food Network, Fox News Channel, and other national networks that have been seen by millions of viewers. I've shot interviews with Academy Award winner Gina Davis, Super Bowl MVP Richard Dent, Heisman Trophy winner Bo Jackson, and others. Being successful in business is much more than the bottom line for me. It's important to give back to the community that has given me so much. Serving is a big part of who I am, and I want to help make this city the best that it can be in all areas, whether it's economic development, quality of life, volunteering, or helping a nonprofit get their message out. Are we path makers or path takers? Do we follow others or do we make our own path? Well, the answer is we are both. Those that came before us made the paths that we have taken. So it's up to us to make paths for those who come after us. We must raise the expectations and demand excellence while taking off the limits of what we can be and what our city can be. I see a bright future for the city of Dothan because of the young people such as the Dothan Area Young Professionals. And I want to thank David McKay for all that he's done. David, as chairman of the board of the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce, he grew the chamber membership. And he also grew the number of minority members of the chamber. So David, I really appreciate you. He's a very outstanding young man. And I admire him, and I know with him in the lead that we have great places that we'll be going. And I also want to thank all my friends at the chamber. Let's see, I want to get all of them's name. I don't want to forget anybody. My chamber friends and chamber family, Matt, Dean, Hayden, Suzanne, Susan, Malia, Linda, Steve, and of course, Janet Shepard. She's no longer there, she's retired, but Janet was a part of the chamber for the entire time I was involved in it, except for maybe the last couple of years. But I would also like to recognize my scenic family that's sitting at table number 21. Doug, Bobby, Kim, Paisley, Terry, Sandy, and Jerome. And 95% of our employees have worked with Scenic for over 20 years. 95%. And I also like to thank my family, immediate family at table 12. My brother Charles, my friend Carolyn, my niece Shay, Christy, and my nephew Scott, and my niece Alicia. And then over at the other table, table number, what number y'all? 17, is my friends and family table. Michael Jackson and Letitia Jackson. Michael and I have been lifelong friends. My cousin Sandra from Atlanta and her brother Tommy, Stanley Davis and Renee Davis, and my pastor, Reverend Marshall, and his lovely wife, Esther. Okay. But it's been great, and I really appreciate it. And it's definitely an honor for me to stand here and to be among such outstanding and great entrepreneurs and just great people. Thank you.
All right. Our next laureate to be recognized is Dr. Press Thornton Jr., Press Thornton Future Masters Golf Tournament.
Press Thornton Jr. was born in Dothan on February 20th, 1928. Press was married to Evelyn for 61 years. They have 5 children: Camille, Press, King, Lynn, and Elsa, and 8 grandchildren.
His love for family was really his love for church and God, and that was so important to him. And he lived his life with integrity, and he led by example and taught us the right things to do. And his love of golf was really, he loved the game of golf, but through Future Masters and the 70-plus year history there, he met so many people, and the thing that he loved more than just the golf was the camaraderie of all the kids and the friendships that they would make while they were here playing golf. And then one night at one of the hospitality parties, there was a whole table full of kids sitting together, and he came over and he said, "Hey, Lynn, go take a picture of that table over there. Those boys are having so much fun together." And he said, "That's what's really important to me, is not only the love of golf, but just the friendships that you make through your adventures playing golf."
His father, also an avid golfer, became concerned about available opportunities for young golfers to compete against each other. This concern was the catalyst for the establishment of a junior golf tournament, sponsored by the Dothan Country Club, named after its creator, the Press Thornton Future Masters.
When Dad first graduated from dental school, he enrolled in the Air Force. While he was in dental school, he missed being recruited to the Korean conflict, and so he felt like he wanted to give back to his country. So he went into the Air Force as a dentist, and then when he came out a couple of years later and came to Dothan and started his practice, he worked on Saturdays because that was when people came into town to do their shopping and see their doctors. And then he was the first dentist around the Dothan area to use the nitrous oxide, which is, we call the laughing gas. But it was really very calming to the patients and helped him be known as a painless dentist. And so the laughing gas would give you just a little bit of numbness. And then he was very gentle and kind.
Press practiced dentistry for 50 years, earning himself the affectionate and appropriate nickname Doc, before retiring in 2005. This allowed him to enjoy more time golfing and sell real estate at Coldwell banker Alfred Saliba Realty, alongside his wife, Evelyn.
One day, a friend of ours was talking on the phone to someone with LL Bean, and she said that she lived in Dothan, and the young man, or a young man at the time, he used to come and play in the Future Masters. And so you never know where you're going to be and who you might meet, where the Future Masters in the city of Dothan have really had an impact on their lives.
Press's heart for the community was also evident throughout his involvement with other charitable organizations. An active member of St. Columba Catholic Church, he helped establish an office for Catholic social services. He also served on the Dothan Boys Club board and was a member of the Rotary Club, honored as a Paul Harris Fellow and with the President's Award.
If Dad was with us tonight, what I really would like to say is that I wish you were here doing this welcome instead of me. So anyway, but what we would say, as you would tell us when we did things that made your heart happy, is, we are proud of you.
Accepting on behalf of his father is King Thornton.
Before I get started, I want my son Luke, would you come up here and grab this and give it to my mom? I'll try to make it through the rest without crying. What an honor to be here tonight and be amongst the distinguished people that are being recognized tonight, but also in the past. Let's see if I can find my glasses. Good evening, I'm King Thornton. I'm the third of 5 children to Press and Evelyn Thornton. I also have the honor to be the General Chairman of the Press Thornton Future Masters. I'd like to thank the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce and the Business Hall of Fame for the induction of my dad, Press Thornton, and the Press Thornton Future Masters. I'm told the Future Masters generates a significant amount of revenue into our local economy. Heard anywhere from $500,000 to $600,000 during the tournament week. If you take that over the history of the tournament, that is close to $40 million. I'm sure my dad would be proud, as he loved Dothan and recognized the many blessings as a lifelong resident. Aside from faith and family, what I feel made my dad the most proud, however, was the legacy of the Future Masters as one of the premier junior golf tournaments in the country, and if not, perhaps the world. And we got a little bit of help this weekend from one of our former age group winners who won the Masters, and Scotty Scheffler. And we had a group down watching the tournament on Saturday, and if you were watching along during the telecast on Saturday, they started discussing this successful junior golf career that Scotty had had. And they put a picture of him up on the screen when he was 9 or 10 years old, and guess what Scotty was wearing? His Future Masters hat. Surely when my grandfather had the idea to start a junior tournament, giving young golfers the opportunity to compete against players their own age, he couldn't possibly imagine what it would be today. This point is also driven home by a letter sent to the Future Masters from the grandson of Bobby Jones, legendary golfer and the creator of the Masters. I'm going to share just a little bit of that letter. I think it really hits home. For more than a century, the Future Masters has made an indelible mark on junior golf, providing a championship test for young golfers of all ages. When my grandfather, Bobby Jones, was a boy, there were no junior golf championships. A player simply had to learn the game on his own and then proceed to the national stage where he would either sink or swim. The Future Masters changed all that. That is a letter to the Future Masters from Bobby Jones IV. Yes, our field is prestigious, attracting top junior golfers from all across the U.S. and beyond. And yes, the tournament is close to celebrating its 75th year, but it's the camaraderie among the players and the passion for the game, and it is a lifelong sport, as Doc has always said, that drove him to put on that green shirt 8 days in a row the last week of June and be at the country club to welcome, encourage, and celebrate the young men that came to compete. He absolutely loved being there. His love for the Future Masters is shared by countless others. Frequently during the tournament week, we hear from the contestants how the Future Masters is the family favorite of their golf season. It also seems no matter where we travel, we hear from people that have a fun story of someone playing in the Future Masters or their time in Dothan. Like last year, we were snow skiing in Utah, and my 16-year-old son got tired of skiing with his old, out-of-shape parents and decided he would go out on his own. And while he was out skiing twice on 2 different ski lifts, he met people that either knew of the Future Masters or had played in it. We make a point of wearing our Future Masters hats, and we love connecting with former and future players. In fact, last month while playing in Pinehurst, Luke and I were paired with a 12-year-old golfer from Cleveland, Ohio. After we'd played a few holes, I noticed this kid was a pretty good player. And I asked him, I said, have you ever heard of the Future Masters? And he had a big smile on his face, and he said, I've already applied for the tournament. And his dad, I ended up talking to his dad, and his dad was, telling me, you see what you can do about getting him in or whatever. And I said, well, I really don't have anything to do with the field, but Kevin, his name is Nathan White. I know Doc's giving the big thumbs up for that day as he is now. Of course, the longevity and the caliber of the tournament is because of the countless volunteers and the city of Dothan rolling out the red carpet. People love our special brand of Southern hospitality, and so many thanks to all the folks that have helped make this event special. My dad lived his committed to his faith, his marriage, and his children, while also accumulating many professional accomplishments as outlined in your program book. For the last 65 years of his life, though, Doc spent most of his time in a 2-mile radius, from St. Columba Catholic Church to 550 West Main, his dental practice, to 702 North Cherokee, our childhood home, or 200 South Cherokee, the Dothan Country Club. He did like to keep things simple, but it's clear through his passion for growing the game of golf that his impact extends thousands of miles beyond that 2-mile radius. Before closing, I'd like to thank the members of the Dothan Country Club and all the volunteers that come out and give us their time each year to help the tournament. And there's a couple of special people, Kevin Klein and Angela Turner. Y'all know how much Doc loved you guys, and thank y'all. On behalf of my mom, Evelyn, my siblings, Camille, Lynn, Press, and Elsa, thank you for honoring our Doc, Dr. Press Thornton, and the Press Thornton Future Masters with his induction into the Business Hall of Fame. Thank you.
All right, our next laureate to be recognized is Samuel Mason Torrance of the Couch Construction Company.
Sam Torrance was born and raised in New Bern, North Carolina. He went to school at Wake Forest. World War II was coming to an end, and he went into the service, and Sam was stationed at Fort Rucker. And it was during that period of time that he met his wife, Julianne, to be. And so Julianne's father, Quinn Flowers Sr., owned Couch and became very fond of Sam during that period of time. And they ended up falling in love and getting married. And Sam, Mr. Flowers wanted Sam to come to work at Couch. Sam wanted to go to law school at Wake Forest, and got involved in the business and grew the business along with Mr. Flowers, who they had a very fond relationship and worked very close together and were very, very close. And Mr. Flowers was killed in an automobile accident, and which was very unfortunate. And Sam was a young man, and Quinn Flowers Jr. was still in college at that time. And Sam ended up taking over Couch, which was a very difficult time in those days. But Sam, and along with many others, got control of the company and grew Couch.
Sam depended upon many excellent Couch employees, sharing, "I attribute my success to my employees. I was just one of the many that made it successful." In 1985, Couch sold and Sam served as president until retiring in 1995.
Sam was very involved in the community here at Dothan. He was head of the Chamber of Commerce when some of the greatest growth that took place. I think Michelin was under his watch, along with the GE plant.
He was instrumental in bringing NCAT to Auburn University, now the Research Center for the Worldwide Asphalt Industry. He was elected to the first class of the Alabama Road Builders Association Hall of Fame, was elected a Paul Harris Rotary Fellow, and member of the Dothan Kiwanis Club for 61 years.
He had a strong faith, and he was, a lot of people don't realize he was very involved at First United Methodist Church.
Sam and Jewel Ann were married for 62 years and had 3 daughters, Julie Shaw, Lane Fleming, and Lee Billings. They have 8 grandchildren and now 16 great-grandchildren. Sam was an active leader in the growth of Dothan. He led Couch into commercial and residential real estate development, including the development of Span Farm. Sam leaves a legacy of integrity and innovative business interests that his family continues to serve in our community.
He would have been very proud of this. He's proud of Dothan. He's proud of his commitment to and what Dothan has meant to him and his family. And this is a wonderful community. Sam was always willing to do anything he could to help this community. He talked fondly of the years when he was chairman of the Chamber of Commerce in those days, and when they were bringing industry. So he would have been very proud of this moment.
Accepting on behalf of her husband is Jewel Ann Torrance.
I think Steve has already said most of this, but I would like to say that we certainly appreciate this honor of receiving this award. My family especially would like to thank Matt Parker, Dean Mitchell, Amanda Burns for their part in making this possible, as well as the Chamber's Board of Directors. Sam considered Dothan to be his hometown, spending the last 64 years of his life here. In business, his first love and first job was Couch Construction Company, whose presence in Dothan began in 1908, paving streets and sidewalks. Mule teams were used to help grade streets with primitive types of equipment. Couch grew and changed as Dothan did, finally with paving streets, building airports, interstate highways in 5 states, and were very busy. Later, Sam entered the real estate development, commercial and residential, and saw the need for a company to assist businesses like Couch with their IT needs. That led to the founding of the IT Support Center, Real Time, when computers took over. Sam always felt that his success was due to the work of loyal, dedicated employees who believe in doing their best in every possible way. Many of those people are here tonight. He would be happy to see his family still engaged in businesses related to what he began. Steve Shaw, our son-in-law, is an owner of Couch Aggregates, which furnishes sand, rock, and gravel to many construction projects. Our grandson, Douglas Shaw, is an owner of Reeves and Shaw Construction, which is in real estate development, commercial, as well as subdivisions and home building. Our grandson-in-law, David Blunt, has a presence in Dothan with Empire Pipe Company. He's the president of that company. Another grandson-in-law, Grant Davis, is involved in trucking and barging those products. Ned Fleming, our son-in-law, has taken CPI, Construction Partners Incorporated, public with a listing on NASDAQ. Charles Owens, an associate and close friend, has been president of CPI since its inception. Nelson Fleming, another grandson who formerly was in a learning position in Dothan now is in a leadership position in a CPI-owned company in Raleigh, North Carolina. My family believes in Dothan and hopes to continue to contribute to the betterment of this wonderful city and its future progress. From mule teams to modern, highly mechanized and sophisticated equipment, we've come a long way. It's exciting to think about what the next generation may accomplish.
All right, our final laureate to be recognized this evening is Hugh Ward Willis Jr., founder of Willis Development and Realty.
Hugh Ward Willis Jr. was born to parents Willie Austin and Ward Willis Sr. April 19, 1947. He spent his childhood years in Dothan, completely unaware of the profound, enduring legacy he would create in his community.
Let me tell you what made Hugh a special person. When he came into a room full of people, he took time to speak to everybody, and he had stories to tell everybody and jokes to tell everybody. I guess the best way of putting it, he lit up a room when he came in it.
Hugh was the husband of Barbara Parker Willis. He has 3 sons, Trip Willis, Hayes Willis, and Christopher Delacroix, as well as 6 grandchildren.
Dothan was a very special place to Hugh. His family was here in business. He was born here, started out in the aviation business. When he came back from college, his daddy died, and he had to go right into the business. And he was very involved in aviation and later the beer business in his life. I was asked by Mayor Alfred Saliba to find someone that would consider donating the land for the golf course, in turn to have the residential development rights around it. Needless to say, I made several phone calls and I got nowhere until I called Hugh Willis. And through that call, at first, he basically told me he didn't think he was interested, but would like to learn a little bit more about it as we went on. And so we went and visited a couple of courses, and he liked what he saw, liked what the opportunity could be for him, but most of all, he liked what the course would do for Dothan.
During this time, Hugh also formed Willis Development and Realty, developing much of the land surrounding the golf course.
I'll never forget, he was telling me about a homeless person that was living in a homeless camp on the east side of Dothan, and he was helping him. And he would go by and talk to him and encourage him and really try to pep him up and help him find ways to get out of, where he was in his life. And I'll never forget one day I called Hugh, and it rained really hard the night before. And I said, "Hugh, where are you?" He says, "I'm over here looking for my buddy, my friend, my homeless friend." He said, "I'm going to get him a hotel room. I know he got wet last night, and I want to give him some food, and I want to help him."
A man of great faith, Hugh served in various capacities at his local church, the Church of the Nativity. Hugh possessed a steadfast servant heart. He was a member of the Dothan Chamber of Commerce Foundation, founding member and past president of the Dothan Houston County Rotary Club, and chairman of the Houston County Port Authority. He served on Wallace Community College Foundation board.
I talked to Hugh shortly after he got word that he was going to be inducted into the Business Hall of Fame. In his career, he'd been in the beer business. He had to run the family aviation business, and he had to become a land developer overnight when they gave the land to the Robert Trent Jones golf course so they could have the courses here today. And I think for him, knowing that all of that was recognized and his accomplishments was really special to him. And if he was here tonight, I would just like to say a job well done.
Accepting on behalf of his father is Tripp Wheelis.
Well, King, you didn't cry all the way, so I'm going to see if I can get through this. Hayne, thank you for your kind words. You know, you're one of his very best friends, and he loved you, and you loved him. Thank you for that, for your kind words. On behalf of Barbara, my brother Hayes, the Knowles family, thank you from the bottom of our still broken hearts for honoring you with this wonderful and prestigious award. I've had the honor to serve on the Business Hall of Fame in many capacities through leadership in the chamber. I was on the nominations committee from day one, and a lot of these laureates were on there. I remember being in the room talking about them. Like Brad, I've emceed this event. But let me say, it's extremely surreal for me to be up here in my father's extra large footsteps and accept this on his behalf. Our family is extremely and especially thankful for the committee's timing, because as Haynes said in his comments, Dad was alive when he found out he was getting inducted into this year's class with these laureates, and he was honored, he was touched, he was thankful to be included with this class, with these men, and ultimately in the Hall of Fame with some of our community's trailblazers. With that being said, those of you that knew him like I did, I can believe he would have been more excited to be up here in the Holden Court and entertaining this room. Lucky for you guys, I'll be brief, and I will not be as entertaining as Dad. Starting when I was a very young man, all I ever wanted to do was to go to Auburn and come back and go into business with my father. We talked about it when I was this big all the way through. I was excited. I mean, who wouldn't be excited to come back and sell beer for a living? So I thought I could do that. I have to sell insurance with my other family over here now, which is much harder. Somewhere around my sophomore year, I got a call from Dad for an important meeting that I had to come home for. In this meeting, he sat me down and he put his hands on my knees and he said, "Son, I'm selling the beer business. And I'm giving away 300 to 400 acres of our family farm." I can promise you at that moment, I was not looking at my dad as a future Business Hall of Fame inductee. I was thinking about where I was going to buy him a straitjacket and a padded room. He had an all-star team that started with Hayne and Matt in the chamber, and Mayor Saliba, his legal team of Bill Lee and David Johnson, 5 men that he loved and respected. And with their advice and their encouragement, the Robert Trent Jones Trail came to Dothan, and it's the pride of the west side of Dothan and the pride of our family. I think Dad will be remembered professionally as a visionary, but I hope he's remembered from Dothan for all the love that came from his very weak heart. One of my favorite quotes that was written in the paper after he passed was, quote, "Mr. Wheelis never held public office, but he was a public servant," end quote. Well, that was well said. He was a vital contributor in many civic and charity organizations, from the Wallace Community Foundation, which he loved, the United Way, the Chamber of Commerce. He was a founding and past president of the Dothan and Houston County Rotary Club and countless other organizations. He definitely left his footprint in our community and so many lives in this room. As his grandchildren called him, Huge. When Huge came into a room, as Haynes said in his comments, you knew he was in the room. You could always expect a smile, a story, a joke. And I don't believe I would be truly representing him without a short story. And boy, did I have a bunch to choose from. As I was writing these comments, it felt like I was writing his eulogy for the second time. And this story came that I had to tell. Because of the business I'm in, I have literally thousands of contacts in my phone. And if I've ever been contacted by you, I've ever called you, I save your name and number. So when we got the news about Dad's passing, our family, in typical Dothan style, was overwhelmed with love, messages, calls. Every 20th or 30th call, text I might get, I didn't recognize the number, but they might say, "This is John Doe. I went to school with your dad, Marion military. I loved him," and said something nice. So the morning I woke up to do his eulogy, I got on my porch early that morning, and I typed the word Dad, and I started crying. I'd write the word Huge, and I'd start crying. And so I just stopped, and I just prayed. I was like, "Dad, God, please give me the strength to get through this eulogy. I've got to write this word, and I've got to honor him." Took a deep breath, and instantly my phone popped up. Area code 765. I didn't know that 765. This is the text I got. "I hope you're doing well. Was checking on your dad to see how he's doing. We're so concerned for him. When you get a chance, send us a text and update us, if you don't mind. Love you all!" Exclamation point. So I started thinking who this could be, but there had been so many messages at that point. So I just replied and I said, "I'm sorry, please excuse me, but I don't have you in my phone. Who is this?" Quickly replied back, "This is Lou and Walt. Did we wake you up?" So I thought deep about our family tree of who Lou and Walt might be. Couldn't find it. So I said, "No, but I'm so sorry to be the one to tell you this. Dad passed on Sunday. I'm actually writing his eulogy right now with tears in my eyes." Here's the next reply. "Are you talking about Gary, Walt's dad?" And I said, "I think you have the wrong number." And I got up from my chair and I walked out the porch and I looked up and said, "Hugh 1, trip 0. And I sat down and I wrote his whole eulogy without having to blink an eye. That was not an accident. Dad, I know you're in heaven looking down on us tonight with a very full heart. Please know that we are proud of you. We miss you every day. And congratulations, you deserve this. Well done."
What a great evening we've had honoring these laureates. Please join me again in a round of applause for all of them, please. Certainly lessons for each of us in seeing what these laureates have done in their careers, their love for their community, their love for their fellow neighbor, their love for their family. So just very well deserved for all of them, and again, congratulations to each. At this time, we would like to invite our diamond sponsor, Mr. Mike Smits, up to the podium for a special raffle drawing. Mr. Smits.
All right. Thank you. Well, good evening. Well, congratulations to all the incredible inductees. I tell you, what kind of challenge you think the committee has in this community to choose just 4 or 5 people. I mean, what an incredible community. So, my honor tonight is, on behalf of Mike Schmitz Automotive Group, Mercedes of Dothan, is to have a giveaway. I have people. I have no idea what's in this. I was told that by Amanda from the chamber, someone put a Mercedes key in here. I want to be clear, if that's true, no, no, no. And if there is one, it'll be like 22 years from now. So, so here's the way it works. Take your program, look in the back page. If there's a sticker from the incredible Chamber of Commerce, world-class gold sticker from the Chamber of Commerce, you are the winner of what's ever in here. Do we have one? Do we have one? Come on down. Oh, that's cheating. Oh, come on. Congratulations. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mike. And again, thank you to Mike and your automotive group for being the sponsor tonight, the Diamond sponsor, and then, of course, our Platinum sponsors. Again, we could not do events like this without the support of businesses like these. I'd also like to thank the Chamber staff for planning and organizing this wonderful event. It was first class, as always. Dean Mitchell, your staff, Matt Parker, great job. We have a wonderful Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce, and it's evident, and you guys know that, of course. All right, before we close, we'd like to ask each laureate and their families to please remain at their tables immediately following the event. Wendy Jones Photography, we want to get some photos, some more photos, so we'll make sure we capture the moment. Again, thank you all for being here this evening. It's great to see everybody and back to events like this after being out for about 2 years. So again, thank you. Hope all of you have a wonderful and safe evening, and we'll see you next time.